Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com and alexmercedcoder.work. And what I want to do today is continue discussing sort of different web trends and things to kind of look forward to in the world of internet development or web development. And today what I want to talk about is progressive web apps. So to understand what a progressive web app is, it's essentially a mobile application built into your browser in a sense, okay? In that case, and nowadays with most phones, you can just take a page, any kind of internet page, and actually kind of put it as an app icon on your app. So there's a lot of benefits to this, but let's kind of talk about the on-ramp, sort of what kind of led to this development. Okay, so you originally had smartphones, and the internet experience on smartphones wasn't the greatest. If you remember like the early days of iPhone. So there was a demand for better usage of the internet, and web developers were just kind of, at the time, sort of stumped on how to do it within the browser on the mobile device because it was just a little unsophisticated. How do you improve that experience? So the advent of the application store, the App Store. So the idea was, okay, you would create apps using native code and it would have its separate user experience. The thing is that back in those days, you'd have to code a whole separate application. So you'd have your web app that you would do in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and whatever backend you decided to use. But then on top of that, you'd have to create an additional application, either an Objective-C if you're talking about a iOS app, or Java if you were talking about an Android app. Okay, and, while robust languages, not necessarily the easiest things for just doing your casual everyday application. So over time, over the last few years, they've both moved on to sort of more rapid development friendly languages. So basically iOS has kind of shifted towards Swift as sort of the primary app development language for native apps. And Android's kind of shifted over to Kotlin, okay, as their sort of main app language, okay? That's all great, but then you'd still need three teams. So you'd still need your Kotlin team to do the Android app, you would still need your web development team for the web app, and you would still need a Swift team to do the iOS app. And depending on what you're doing, that might be appropriate, might be the best way to go. But the question was, how can we create, this is costly, so how can we do this better? So a couple different things happened over the last several years. You had development of things like React Native and NativeScript. Now what React Native and NativeScript do allow you to actually make mobile applications using JavaScript. So React Native kind of takes React and the React framework and makes it a tool for creating mobile apps. NativeScript kind of allows you to use all of JavaScript. So you could use Vue, you could use Angular to create mobile apps, or even Ember to make mobile apps via NativeScript. So that allowed you to create actual applications that would be in the App Store via JavaScript. Okay, and then also Google came out with Flutter. Now Flutter is a tool to compile apps, either iOS or Android, and you use a special language there called Dart. So that was just another way to create native apps. So basically you had all these new tools that can create native apps across multiple platforms. So instead of creating two separate an iOS and Android app, you would just do one app and then compile it for both, okay, using these tools. But you still have to go through the whole App Store process, which I've done it before for iOS and Android. Android wasn't so bad. iOS was daunting, okay? It's just all sorts of steps you have to go through before you even have an App Store account, and then much less get your app uploaded, approved, whatnot. It takes time. Okay, and then when you're working with different teams, and it got complicated. So you have a little bit lack of control in that aspect, and you have this time lag that happens in getting your app on the App Store. So even if you created a native app that took advantage of all the native features, okay, so you can take advantage of like push alerts, stuff like that, you still had this sort of extra step. So thus enter progressive web applications. So with progressive web applications, what happens is that you just create the application via a web app, because now the mobile browser is sophisticated enough, web frameworks are sophisticated enough to create a pretty much app-like experience straight out of the browser. And then people can just basically hit that little button that says add to home screen, and now that page is on the home screen and they can open it up whenever they need to make use of the app, which has several benefits. You can just do stuff in the tools that you've already been used to HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and whatever backend you prefer. You don't have to worry about, you know, approvals, how long it's going to take to get on the App Store. It's up when you want to. You can update it right away. There's all sorts of benefits to that, and it's overall, and then you don't have to pay the App Store or share revenue with the app stores of iOS or iPhone. So you get these benefits when you do a progressive web application. And that's what a progressive web application is. It's a web application that's sort of able to function on a mobile browser to the extent that it's almost like you're using an app. Okay, so there's many reasons why, especially a lot of smaller use cases are going to move towards progressive web applications. Because if you are a restaurant and you wanted to have you don't necessarily need a full app for someone to go look up your menu. Okay, so in that case, a progressive web app might make sense to turn your website into, have it designed and optimized as a progressive web application to offer any kind of functionality you want to offer if people want to order online or whatnot. So that's going to be a growing trend, and it's going to continue being a growing trend into 2020 and beyond. So keep an eye on that. Thank you guys very much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Again, my name is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com and alexmercedcoder.work. Make sure to click the link in the video description so that way you can sign up for the networking Slack channel, so you can meet other developers, whether they're web developers, Python developers, C++ developers. If you're a developer, you code, join the Slack, meet other coders, and let's well, support each other. So I'll see you guys later on. Have a great day and enjoy.